Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us for our this is the New Year podcast. Welcome to 2025, and we are Insights from the Couch. This is Yella Lee Smith, licensed clinical social worker, and Dr. Anamaria Ryan is joining me today, and we are continuing our topic on relationships. We've gotten through the holidays, we survived, and now we're moving right back to the nitty-gritty of how to get yourself a partner that's a lasting relationship, something positive for you. And Dr. Anamaria Ryan is welcome. And tell me a little bit about what we're going to be doing today, Anamaria.
Hi, Jalili. Thank you so much for inviting me one more time. I'm so excited to do this collaboration with you and your clinic. This podcast that has been reaching some people out there. I have had good feedback from my clients that have taken the time to listen.
Awesome.
Yes, I love it. So I think this is a wonderful way to send information to people that are seeking for that information, and they can listen to it in the car on their way to work, while they're
Mhm.
cleaning. What we're doing this morning is we're going to talk about relationships one more time because definitely that is a hot topic. And I think we were
Okay.
going to define a little bit of what a need is in terms of relationships. And we're also maybe going to talk about not allowing people to manipulate you with techniques like breadcrumbing or
Mhm.
orbiting you. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do this morning.
You're
Very
gonna
excited.
you're gonna have to definitely define orbiting because I don't even know what that is. So okay, all right, all right. Valentine's Day is coming.
Ah,
Everybody feels the pressure to be in love. Everybody feels the pressure to have some sort of a person with them. It's one of those times of the year where it's so easy to feel lonely and feel alone, and a lot of our patients often share those feelings of like not being able to go out the house, not being able to really interact with others because all that they want to talk about and everything that they see is just couples, couples, couples all over the place. All right, so today we're going to get a few points out there for our listeners that they can use as they're looking for a partner that will help them narrow down the the field and the possibilities so that they can be matched with the right person for them.
yep.
Okay. So the first one was exactly what you mentioned. Figure out what you want versus what you need. And when I thought of that, does something come to mind? Because I just thought you were going to say something.
Yeah, no, I was thinking that sometimes people don't even know what they want. We might have touched on this before. I think that because you said that, of course, Valentine's Day is coming up. People are in a hurry, or they tend to kind of like feel, okay, I gotta find someone, gotta find someone. And to be quite honest, I think that we should approach partnership not from a place of need. I need to find someone. This needs to be more organic, kind of like maybe it's going to find you instead of you finding it, or you guys are going to find each other. But in terms of wants, I've noticed that a lot of people don't even know what they want, so much less they're going to know what they need.
That's
uh,
I agree. One of the things that I get told every single time I bring up the idea of finding a partner organically is, well, I don't actually go out to the clubs and I don't do this, I don't do that. So how am I going to find somebody? Be nice. How about that? You can smile at the barista at Starbucks, and that might be your future partner. You can say hi and smile to the Uber driver. You can say hi and smile to your colleagues at work. You can be nice. Put yourself in a position where your interaction with other human beings outside of the club, outside of whatever the standard dating arena is, just put yourself as a person, stage yourself as a person in a way that your interactions with other people on a day-to-day basis may lead to more conversations. It doesn't matter. You could be literally in the pharmacy, like you in the pharmacy line going to go pick up your medication. You can be ordering food at a restaurant. There's so many different things. You can be talking to someone about business. That person is assessing you. People are constantly assessing each other for the potential of mating. That's just a fact of humanity, and all animals are the same way. We are all always assessing the potential for future mates. And so when I think about organically meeting, I mean, I tell this story all the time. My boyfriend is so proud of himself because I paid to meet him because he's a mechanic and he had put up a Groupon, and I paid for him to change my oil. And I met him because he owns a mechanic shop, and he came to pick up my car, and we smiled at each other. We had like maybe 3 words with each other. That's all we interacted. But there was a connection. We liked each other, and that was it. And all he did was come and pick up my car so they could his guys could change my oil. And I never in a million years, I had been in a web dating website. I had, right? But
But maybe the thing is that you were not even looking for this, that there was, you were not coming from a place of need, and neither was him. So I think, or he, I think that sometimes here's something that people are in such a hurry, not only because of Valentine's Day or the New Year, whatever the case may be, but also age, right? So maybe not so much you because you're in your early 30s, but as people age, they start to get more worried about this, and they're like, desperately, I have to find someone before the time comes when I'm all by myself and I'm just decrepit and by myself and alone. So I do want to say something about organic meetings. One person that I met a while back, I thought this was a beautiful story because actually she was in her mid 60s and she was not thinking about this happening for her at all. She had been divorced for 2 decades, maybe, I don't know, and she connected with a neighbor in a new community she moved to, those communities for 55 and older. And they fell in love in their mid 60s, the two of them. And what a beautiful couple. And it just happened that way. Neither one of them was in dating size. They were not looking for this, they were not desperate. It's just an organic connection that was there for the two of them. So I definitely think that we need to slow down. We need to learn how to love ourselves first, and
mhm.
then maybe, okay, it would be nice to have a partner, but it has to come from self-love instead of, oh my God, I gotta find someone, I gotta find the one, I gotta find the perfect partner. But that's just my thought.
I think so too. I think it's hard to completely put aside the idea of wanting to find a person. If you really want to find a person, it's hard to just say, nope, it's not in my thoughts. I would say, uh, the thing that you try to ignore is often the thing that troubles you the most. So it's not about saying, oh, I'm gonna close my eyes and my ears and my mouth and like pretend like one of those monkeys that can talk, can't see, can't hear, and relationships are not important to me. No, it's okay for relationships to be important to you,
Absolutely.
and it's okay
Absolutely.
to want to eventually be with somebody. But when we talk about needs and wants, the thing that every single person needs, the very first thing to find a healthy relationship is you need to have a better understanding of yourself.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. I
So,
agree.
as much as you may be open to a potential partner while you're going through that process, make the process of finding yourself and finding a relationship with yourself the priority. And yes, if somebody else comes along and you guys hit it off, fine, that's fine. But make that journey to find your own relationship with who you are the top priority.
So, before we started the podcast this morning, we were talking about something else that we're going to be hopefully discussing, God willing, which is, self help books. That's the next thing we're going to be talking about. And I was kind of like sharing with you, Jalili, that I am not a big fan of self help books, but there is this one author who is a Buddhist monk, and he passed away probably like 4 years ago. I love his work. And there is a book of his from 2015 that is called How to Love. Those are easy books that anybody can read. It's all about mindfulness and aspects of life. But he said something along the lines of, I'm going to paraphrase, it's not the exact quote, but like, hurt people that are out there trying to love others are going to end up hurting someone else.
Yeah.
So, in order to find what you want and what you need to work on yourself first. I would say that that's the first thing. Know how to love
Yeah.
yourself. And then you can learn how to love someone else, or go like, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to be able to put up with this, or this is a good core value for me. And yes, everything starts from the self, I believe. And then you can start kind of like making a list about your needs and about your wants and about all that good stuff. But yeah, learning how to love, I feel like is so important.
Yeah.
And healing, the healing process is so important too. Because what if you need someone? Here's an example. What if you go for someone that this is my Prince Charming. This is the person that is going to save me. This is the person that is going to do all these things for me. That could be a need and that could be a want, but I don't know if that's coming from a place of self love. I'm not hating on people that do that for other people. That's fine. If you have that kind of relationship where you take care of your partner that way, that's great. But I would say that it's probably better to know, okay, I can do these things for myself, but it would be nice to have this person doing this for me. That's a difference.
Yes, very, very true. And then you touched on a really important part, which I would say that's tip number two is figure out your core values, your core beliefs. And we touched on this before, and I cannot reinforce it enough. Make sure you have a clear understanding of what your core beliefs are. Core beliefs are things that are non-negotiables for you. These are things that if the person is not able to respect them, if the person's not, and I'll give you a very simple example. If you are a single parent and one of your core beliefs should be, I have to have a partner that can accept my child and that can accept the relationship that I have with my child
Mhm.
and respect the fact that maybe we need alone time, or one of the core beliefs can be, I'm looking for a partner that's willing to kind of engage with my child and be part of the family nucleus of what we're trying to form. Someone that's not going to make me choose between me and my child, or somebody that's going to accept my situation knowing that there is a third person in the mix who's like, another parent that I have to have regular interactions with. That has to be a core belief. If you love me, you have to love my child. That's a core belief. That's like, I cannot have a person that's going to give me a difficult time because I have a kid.
That's a non-negotiable. And I hate to be shallow, but I think that also is applicable to the things that are attractive to you in a partner, physically. But this is very subjective, but I'm going to give an example here. People are listening to us, they can't see us, but I'm 5'10, right? So I think to myself, I am not going to be, sorry for saying this, looking at a person that is less than 5'10 because I wouldn't feel comfortable with that. And that for me it's a core value. So if I try to make myself smaller, literally to fit into something that I'm initially not comfortable with, that's not going to go well. And it can be just something as shallow or vain as that. But I think those are examples of core values. It's not only about family, or it could be about the way the person looks. I don't know, something like that. And that doesn't mean that you're vain or that your standards are just about what it's on the outside. But I
Right.
feel like that I'm giving an example of a core value that is not about family, that is not about thoughts, that is about, again, not making literally yourself smaller. Other women may not mind that, but that's something that is not going to change. The person that you're with is not going to grow a few inches. Well, they can wear, platform shoes or whatever, but typically people are not going to change in that respect. And so if you're not willing to be with someone that is shorter than you, that becomes a core value, a core need, or no, I'm sorry, core, yeah, it's a need actually, because you're not willing to compromise for that. Now, if you don't mind, then that's something you're willing to compromise.
Right. It
And
could be something, it could be that something else. Like, for example, for me is a preference, but I'm also 5'4".
exactly.
I round up to 5'4". My choices are slightly bigger than yours, like wider. I don't have as much of, but my non-negotiable is hygiene.
Thank you. I was just thinking about that. Exactly. Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Uh-huh.
So the person has to be like, they don't have to be a neat freak or no, but they have to be clean. It's
Absolutely.
like, take a shower every day. Your clothes should be clean. Cut your nails. Put on deodorant. Like that
He-
type of stuff.
Here's another one. I just saw this meme a couple days ago, and it was the thumbs of a man, and the nails were like so short, like when you bite them, like so short. And it says something along the lines as, please don't text me if your nails look like this, if your fingers look something along. It was a meme. But I think for a lot of people, that's a horrible thing. Don't do that because I cannot get past it. And it could be something as small as that. I guess my point I'm trying to make, Jalili, is that it doesn't have to be something as meaningful as, don't put my child in a position where I have to choose you, or my child. But it could be something small. It's just, please know what you need and know what you want and know yourself, I guess is what we're trying to say.
Yeah,
That's the point.
and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to have that. list of non-negotiables. Don't think, and speaking of the idea of making yourself small, don't think that you have to compromise yourself just to find someone, because the moment you start compromising on your non-negotiables, everything else is out the window. And again, you may not know what your non-negotiables are. You may need to explore that a little bit, because you might have some idea of some of the basic ones, but then as you think about it, others might come up. But if you start compromising on those, like making yourself small, literally, for the sake of giving other people room to grow in the relationship, and they can step on you and they can, like, trespass boundaries with you, that's not a good relationship.
You know what, Lily? I think you're touching on something that is important that we talk about, because a lot of relationships don't start in the sense of let's get to know each other and talk about these things. I think these days relating to someone or connecting with someone is a little more liquid. So it could be something like, okay, let's go have a couple drinks, and maybe the next time we meet, we're sexually intimate, and then we start. Everything is a chemical, right? I believe we are walking chemicals, like in wrapping skin. So we have the lust chemicals that start kicking in. We like the person and we're like, oh, I think I like this person. Yeah, okay. I think that, I'm attracted to this person. And we just don't think. I mean, people just get in relationships and then they start thinking, well, oh my gosh, I don't think I like this about that person. I don't think I knew this about that person. I really wasn't sure that we were going to end up in this situationship. So I think that's part of the issue too, that people don't just take the time. They just go with it. They just find someone, they meet someone, and they go like, okay, it fits this criteria. This one, check this box. This one, not so much, but I think I can go around that. And next thing you know,
Yeah.
you're making yourself small and you're making yourself fit into that situation because you're already hooked.
Yeah.
I've seen that happening so many times.
Yeah.
And you
So,
start questioning your values, like, okay, well, maybe this is important to me, but I think I can do without that.
uh,
Oh, this other thing is very important to me, but who cares? Like, maybe he'll change. That's another one that's a classic. Or she'll change. So I think it's because we don't take the time to really talk about these things. Next thing you know is you find yourself in a relationship, and whoa, how did we get here? I don't know. 5 dates later or 6 dates later. I don't know how many. Yeah.
yeah. And people hate change. They hate change so much. So once you attach yourself to a person, it can be as soon as five, 3, 4 dates.
Or yes, less.
Or less, especially if there's sex involved. Now you attached yourself to this person emotionally, and now getting out of it is so much more complicated. So I would say that brings us to the next topic, is be honest. Be honest with yourself and be honest with the other person. Have, like, I don't know, find a line that you like, that you just like use if the person's not a good match or something. But don't mind F yourself into thinking that a person is the right fit when you're clearly seeing that they're not the right fit, and it's just because you don't want to go through the struggle of going back into the dating pool. Is like, think about where you're going to be. I would say picture yourself with that person having that trait a decade from now. You're on date 4. You're on date 4. Let's say that the person does something that you are just like not comfortable with, but you're on date 4 and you just found out. Stop for a moment and picture yourself living with that every day for the next decade, and tell me it's not worth you being honest with that person and with yourself and breaking that off. Come on. Like, don't just don't mess yourself up into believing that, but this is Prince Charming or my princess or whatever.
Yeah, you're right. And, I think I'm going to piggyback a little bit on this, but regarding something more spiritual or in terms of energies, which I don't have any way to prove clinically, but I believe that everyone has this intuition that tells them the red flag is there. And we're so good at ignoring those red flags. I don't think it comes from an intellectual place sometimes. I actually have felt this myself in my body telling me, no, that's not, no, no, no. So I think that maybe with the honesty with the self,
Mhm.
also listening to that voice, that intuition that is telling you that's not good for you. And so many people, women and men that I speak to on daily basis, they notice these things. It's like it didn't feel right. Something didn't feel right,
Have,
but they still.
have you seen the meme that says they're a whole red flag, but I'm colorblind?
That's right. That's right. Yep. Yep.
That's so
Yep.
true. So, and you know what? I just thought about something. The person who if you're the type of person who has a difficult time with boundaries and self sabotage, you're more likely to do that. You're more likely to paint your potential partner with rose colored glasses and ignore the red flags. So this takes us right back to the beginning, to lesson number one, and to like suggestion number one is get to know these things about yourself, get to know your attachment style, get to know the type of person that you are whenever you're not in a good place. Because if you know, I'm pretty likely to accept a person even when they're not good for me, because I've done this over and over and over again in the past, and I know that about myself. Like,
So I want to say something else if I can, Jalili, kind of like adding to what you're explaining. Some of the processes that we work with are not just intellectual in nature. Some processes are, they go beyond that, right? They are deeper in the programming. So I think along the lines of knowing yourself, it's important to heal some things, because most likely if you're aware of these things intellectually, you may fall back into the trap just because you haven't done the process of healing. So definitely give yourself the opportunity to do work with a therapist, or I don't know, a spiritual coach, whatever you want to call, I don't know, whomever you want to go see, but definitely do this healing work. Because what's going to end up happening is that, talking about attachment styles, which I believe are not set, I think they're very liquid as well, because everybody's capable of having secure attachments. Everybody's capable of feeling anxious attachments and avoiding attachments, and a combination of those. But what I have seen, Jalili, is that beyond being intellectually aware that this is not good for me, there is this inevitable attraction between, I'm going to avoid this person, and the other one attaches. And there's this dance between anxious and avoidant. And it's just something that is happening at more at a animal brain type of level. So people are aware of this, but there is that interaction, the interaction between an empath and a narcissist is
mhm,
just like honey to bees, right? So, but if
mhm,
people are aware of these things and they look a little deeper into their wounding, it's probably better, because then you can really set your boundaries, right? If I look into my codependency, because I'm an empath, I can become codependent very, very easily.
mhm.
Maybe I can get better at setting boundaries, but I have to do that process of healing myself first and being aware in many levels, not just in the mind. Believe it or not, in the body too. The body carries a lot of stuff that we don't know about yet, much about. So yeah, that would be something that I would say to the people out there, is just do the labor, the legwork, and heal. Not only know yourself, but please, please, please get that heart in the right place, so that you can get the quality of love that you deserve, that you can give.
Yeah. The next one I would say is beware of mind games. Beware of psychological mind games. Beware of them being played towards you, and beware of you playing them. We all have the capacity to play mind games with people. And if you're feeling insecure, if you're feeling, I don't know, I would say if you have like, if you're not too confident in your potential relationship with this person, because you feel like maybe you're not good enough, maybe your self-esteem is not where it's supposed to be, maybe you think that they're not at your level, or maybe they've made you feel that way, or for whatever reason, but you might play games with the person and ruin a possible excellent relationship, because a healthy person's gonna look at you playing mind games and they're gonna be like, I'm not about this, because I got my boundaries and I have my non-negotiables, and I'm not gonna be dealing with you ghosting me every 5 minutes and telling me that somebody hit on you and what am I gonna do, or telling me that your ex called you, or any of that BS. Like, they're not going to deal with the drama. If you're dealing with a person who's actually healthy, they are not there for the drama, they're not interested in it, and they're going to walk away from you if you play mind games with them.
Yeah, thank you for bringing up the word mind game. I had another one in mind, but I don't know if it is appropriate to use that word in the podcast. Actually, well, I've done that before. Sorry, but I'm not gonna do it this morning. I'm gonna be very pro. Oh yeah? Okay, well, I'm gonna call it a mind fuck. You can go ahead and bleep that if you want to, but because I use that word all the time, and I'm like, you know what? If somebody is mind fucking you, you definitely don't want to be in that situation. But it takes me to what I was saying before, that sometimes people play these games, and there is actually a whole thing back in the 1940s about playing games. People who play games. This is about transactional analysis and psychoanalysis back in the day, and how we learn how to play games with one another, right? And so some people are not even aware that they're doing this. And so I would say be careful, because maybe the person you're with is not aware that they're doing this. And maybe they don't know that they're doing it consciously. Some people do. Some people are very manipulative and they're very well aware of what they're doing. But some other people don't. They just engage in these games that they learn early on because they witness them, or they have somehow gotten comfortable with this.
Mhm.
So that's why I was saying healing is very, very important, because then you know, oh my goodness, okay, this is something that I witnessed growing up, or this is something that happened to me. And if you're aware of that, most likely you're not going to be willing to fall into it. But a lot of people don't know that this is happening until you're way deep in the game and you're like, oh my god, this is a mind fuck. Like, what do I do now?
Well, if you're dealing with a person that's trying to manipulate you or trying to play games with you, but you can you have a sense, you're going to give them the benefit of the doubt and assume innocence and say, okay, uh, they don't mean it or they don't understand what they're doing. Part of a healthy relationship is communication, and part of a
Sure.
healthy relationship is to sit that person down and say, do you realize this is how you make me feel whenever you do this, or do you realize that when you do this, it triggers this about me? So I'll give you a perfect example. Bill, my boyfriend, absolutely does not appreciate me playing those stupid little jokes of like jealousy jokes. So like if I make a joke about, oh well, you looked at that girl and like, what, did you like her, did you think she was cute, blah blah blah. So like if I do that to him, he will put me in my place so fast. He'll be like, what are you trying to accomplish here? Like he will just call me out. And I used to do that at the beginning, and I learned really fast to not do that because it was my insecure way of poking at a wound that I had that was then going to trigger an argument, that it was going to bring up the jealousy question.
But I guarantee that you were not doing that on purpose. Like you didn't, or
I didn't do it because I wanted to fight. I did it because it was like an unconscious insecurity of mine at the time. And I swear to you, I couldn't even help myself. It would just come out.
but
It was
that's what I'm saying. That
right,
sometimes we're wired to play these games and
right.
we don't even know that we're playing those games.
Right, and the healthy approach, obviously the way he approached it was like a hammer, but I don't think that that's healthy. But he did the right thing
Shut it down right away.
by shutting it down right away, because he would ask me a very simple question. He would be like, "What is your goal here? Like, what are you trying to accomplish?"
Damn.
Like a hammer. He's good about that. He's a blunt object, but I mean, brilliant, but a blunt object. He doesn't mince words. And so he would just, what are you trying to accomplish? Because clearly you're not trying to get anywhere positive with this. So what are we doing here? Are we going to get into a fight? Like, what's happening? So this is what I'm talking about. Like, if you who have done the work identify that the person is playing games, you can absolutely be fantastic if you gave them the benefit of the doubt, and maybe there's some things about them that they haven't healed yet that they can start working on, or they've been working on that hasn't been fully healed. But call it out. Like,
Here's something here's something for my ladies specifically. Guys cannot read your mind, ladies.
amen. Thank you.
So they need to be told what you're thinking because they cannot get in your head. So innuendos or
Mhm.
hints, they may
Mhm.
work with your girlfriends. They sure don't work with men.
Mhm.
I'm not speaking for everybody, but
It's a
I
fact
guess
though.
that is a good idea to be as concise and straightforward as you can be. I don't know if I can tell a real quick story, but I sometimes I give the story to my clients in terms of expectations that you may have about communication. Yes. So I don't know about if you know about this overnight oats, but I used to do those all the time. So it's you put oats in a jar with almond milk and all kinds of goodies like protein or whatever. So my partner was very much interested in this, and he said to me, my husband, he was like, "Why don't you do this, and I will start doing it for myself. Like I will start eating them if you make them, if you put them in the fridge for me." Sure, no problem. So I make a list because we didn't have all the ingredients, and I write big ass title: overnight oats, ingredients, animal milk, honey,
Mhm.
strawberries, bananas, blah blah blah. The man comes home. We're very excited about this. We unpacked everything. I looked and I'm like, "Where are the oats?" And he's like, "You didn't write it on the list." And I'm like, "My God, but the title says overnight oats." And he's like, "Yeah, but you didn't write it on the list." So
Yes.
that right there, my friends, is an example of communication between men and women that happens all the time because sometimes guys are very literal. So if you have a need that you need to communicate to this person, please do it diligently and don't fluff it a lot. Just go for the kill. You can say something like, "Hey, when you said this, I felt this way. I would appreciate if we don't do that anymore." Something very short like that. But they're not going to be able to read your mind, girls. So anyway,
Bill's
sorry.
Bill's favorite statement for the first like 4 years of our relationship was, "I hate." No, he would say, "I'm not going to soft soap it for you." I don't even know what the hell that means, but I know that what he was trying to say is, "I'm not going to cushion the fall for you. I'm not going to make it sound pretty and fluff it up for you." No.
It's gonna hit you with a 2x4.
Exactly. I'm going to hit you with the communication 2x4. So, and this is a scientific fact. Women speak twice as much as men. This is a fact on a day to day basis. I've asked Bill about his thought process and how he thinks. And and we've done this exercise because I was really curious about the male mind. And I told him what I think about. As we were driving, I was just saying out loud the thoughts that were popping in my mind. And we have like dozens of thoughts inside one thought. Like one single thing can lead to dozens of different branches of thought. I mean, it is insane how
So
complete our mind is.
here's another pitch, if you don't mind. If you guys haven't taken the time to listen to Mike Gonger or you haven't seen him, he is a couples counselor, but he's faith based. If you can get past that, if you don't share the Catholic or Christian faith, if you can get past it, he is absolutely wonderful. And he
What's the
talks
name?
about Mike Gonger. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, but GU. And I believe that that's the way that you write his name. But anyway, so you can actually Google the Nothing Box, and you will get to one of his. It's like a presentation slash skit because it's really funny, and he talks about the differences between the operation of the brain. The brain is the same. We have the same structure. I don't think it's that. I think it's the hormones that we run on. So
Yeah.
testosterone allows guys for real to think about nothing. You ask a man, "What are you thinking about?" And he says nothing. And I promise you, it's nothing. But for us ladies, girl, I don't know what that is, okay? Because I'm always thinking about something.
No, and when I was looking into the phases of a woman's monthly cycles,
Yes, ma'am.
we are constantly in a battle with our emotions and constantly in a battle with our consciousness. And so men don't have that. They don't have to worry about that. They can spend an entire day hyper focused on one thought
Or
and
no thoughts.
no
Sorry.
thought. Just go about their day and not delve into the life experience of your emotion. You know, like I can wake up and have a feeling of being sad and hyper focus. Like my entire day can be all around why I felt sad when I woke up, and I can go into the depths of hell when it
Mhm.
comes to hyper fixating and thinking about that feeling.
But you know what, Dalili, that is part of the evolutionary aspect of being a female, in the sense
Right.
of being a female, because we needed that back then in the caveman days to survive. Women, that's the superpower we have, is to project, to plan, to connect the dots. And men were the hunter gatherers. So they couldn't just spend 5 minutes looking at this animal, waiting for the animal to eat them. They need to be like all over the place. Hence, their attention span is shorter than it is for females. This is true as well. Ladies, again, going back to communication and being honest, be as straightforward as you can with your man.
Yeah, be
And
very.
guys, try to pay attention to what she's saying too, because I have seen them losing attention 2 minutes into it just because they're, I don't know, something else is going on. Squirrel.
Yeah,
So
use your for men, I would say try to be a little bit more attentive, like put away the phone, turn off the TV, and like make eye contact when the person that when that person is actively trying to communicate something important to you, like make eye contact and actually and ask questions, ask clarifying questions along the way so that you'll stay engaged. So that also will help you stay focused. Okay, we have just I'm just gonna really really quick
wrap it up. Wrap it up.
it up, go over everything that we've discussed. Number one, we talked about know thyself. So do some work on yourself. Yes, you are the drama. If you're wondering if you're the drama, you're the drama. All of us have something to work on. All of us have red flags. All of us have pasts. Even if you haven't had relationships before, you've had parents, you've had siblings, you've had family members, you have had life experiences. So there's always work to be done. Make sure you do it. Number two, know your non-negotiables. Be honest about your non-negotiables with yourself and don't hesitate to set those very clear boundaries about your non-negotiables. Three, be honest about what you need, about your non-negotiables, about your communication with your partner. Four, don't play mind games. Don't play mind games and don't accept others playing mind games. Call them out. And finally, the fifth is communication. Remember that your partner, if you are with someone of the opposite sex, most likely communicates on a different vibration than you do. They communicate differently than you do. So try to learn what works for them, because the ultimate goal in communication is getting the other person to understand you. You already understand yourself. You want the other person to understand you. So you have to do the work to figure out how you can get that person to that point, not the other way around. It's not how can I force the other person to understand me, is how can I get the other person to understand me. So those are the 5 tips for a healthy relationship, finding a good partner, finding a solid partner, and having a long and fruitful relationship, not just a one and done kind of thing.
Okay, and yes, a couple of things that I mentioned in terms of things that you can access online if you want to or want to know more about. The How to Love book from 2015 from Thich Nhat Hanh, which is a Buddhist monk, and is really, really a good book. I recommend it highly to learn how to love yourself. And then secondly, I got his name correctly now. A Tale of Two Brains is called his work, and his name is Mark Gungor, Gungor. So you may want to check that out,
Thank
ladies
you.
and gents and peoples. And thank you so much, Jalili.
Thank you, Dr. Ana Maria.
I'll see you next time.
All right, bye.
Bye.